Did you miss the world's biggest trade show, CES in Las Vegas last week? If you did, stick around. I'll ramp you up on what happened. Keynote speakers, key takeaways, and some things that weren't perfect. Stand by. Hey everybody, it's Paul Harris with Blackhawk Recruiters here in sunny California. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. As you may know, I run an executive search firm that specializes in the telecom sector, and last week was kind of the granddaddy of all the trade shows, CES, Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, January 8th through 11th at the Las Vegas Convention Center. And I know how these things go, right? Many times you go to these trade shows and then you never even make it inside because you've got meetings out all day in your hotel room or whatever, or off-site, and you may have never made it inside. So I'm going to do my best to ramp you up on what happened. So CES, you guys know this trade show, right? They've been around for over 50 years, and I go to a lot of trade shows. Some trade shows have 100 people, some have 200 people, some have 2,000, some have 20,000, but this one, you guys, 180,000 people from 150 different countries, 250 conference sessions, 11 venues, 4,500 exhibitors, spread out over 3 million square feet of exhibit space. This is a monster trade show. And you guys, you know there's a lot of things that happen at the CES that frankly, I'm sure we don't necessarily care about. You know, I've always said somebody manufactures a new leather case for an iPhone, very happy for them, but you know, we don't really care, right? So I'm going to try to tell you about the things that happen that we do care about in the wireless infrastructure world, and it was all about 5G. Not only all about 5G, but all about the technologies and use cases that will be enabled by 5G. So let's talk a little bit about some of the keynotes. So the CEOs from Verizon and AT&T were there. They were keynote speakers. AT&T's CEO, so John Donovan, called 5G a game changer. Hans Vestberg from Verizon, he called 5G a quantum leap and said it would be as revolutionary as the steam engine and electricity. So some quite bold statements there about 5G. So what's so great about 5G? You know what they are, but let's just review them quickly. Number one, absolutely, is speed, right? So 5G is going to be up to 1,000 times faster than 4G, so up to 10 gigabytes per second. Number two, throughput, right? How much is going through the pipe in terms of data? Up to 10 terabytes per second. Awesome. Number three, I would call it density, right? So 10 times more devices can be connected in a given area. Number four, energy consumption and efficiency. So the handset, the infrastructure, it's all going to be less taxing and more cost effective. Five, this is huge latency. You know this one. So 5 millisecond latency, which is absolutely needed for things like connected cars, remote surgeries, etc. And then lastly, reliability. So 5.9 reliability. Let's talk about the use cases, 5G, or some of them, at least the big ones. So number one, I'm going to say in first place, maybe along with maybe smart cities, is connected cars, autonomous vehicles, otherwise known as self-driving cars. None of this stuff works without the 5G wireless infrastructure, right? When the car says it's time to stop, you can't have latency. It has to be immediate, and that's why it is so important for the connected cars. So we're talking about some of the stuff beyond just navigation and infotainment in a car. Let's talk about the new buzzword CV2X, which is known as cellular V2X. Basically, cellular vehicle to everything. That's what it stands for. And it's what it is, just using cellular for vehicle to everything communication. It's going to be huge. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about vehicles to other vehicles, right? Hey, your car is too close to my car. You need to do something. Vehicles to infrastructure, vehicles to people, right? Vehicles to pedestrians, vehicles to the cloud, and once again, vehicles to everything. And many auto manufacturers are working with Qualcomm on their chipsets. To make this happen, Ford is committed to having all of their cars being V2X capable by 2022. And if you need any more evidence in the self-driving car world, Lyft had their autonomous vehicles running around, taking people from the Strip to the convention center. So all good stuff. What else in the 5G category? Well, Intel had 5G and edge computing demonstrations. As you know, these applications require the low latency / immediacy. Now I've mentioned them before, including AI, AR, VR, And in the past, you'd have to have a centralized RAN near the customer, but now with computing at the edge is possible with low latency 5G. So we all agree that 5G is going to be awesome, it's going to be great. Okay, when is it going to be here, right? What's going on? Where are we at with 5G? So I think so it's not going to be like a light switch where everything's 4G and then the next day everything's 5G, right? It's going to be a slow roll over time, and Verizon, AT&T have already begun launching 5G in parts of select U.S. cities. Verizon is selling a fixed wireless home broadband product. AT&T is offering mobile service based on 5G new radio standard. But most mobile phones, I think we know this, right? Most mobile phones are not 5G capable yet, and they will be rolling out throughout the year of 2019. Apple won't even have a phone that's capable of it, they say, until 2020. So a lot of this was about companies preparing for the launch of 5G with autonomous vehicles, AR, VR, AI, and a big one is going to be drones. So it was a great show, you guys. Maybe on the downside a little bit, I would say that there weren't a lot of huge meaty 5G announcements. So I think we're all wondering is, are the carriers waiting for Mobile World Congress in Barcelona at the end of February before they make their big announcements, kind of like CES was the opening act, so to speak, for the headliner, which would be Mobile World Congress. We'll see, we don't know, we can guess. Also on the negative side, I would say a little bit of back and forth spitting contest that was going on during that time frame between all four carriers regarding marketing, basically regarding around when can you say something is 5G, right? One of the carriers got their chops busted for a status bar saying 5G when it really wasn't 5G, and one of the CTOs from another big four wireless carrier, we've heard the term fake news. Well, he was calling it fake 5G. So a little bit of comedy there. Also on the downside, obviously the government shutdown hurt us on the regulatory side in terms of speakers from the government. These government officials had to cancel their travel plans due to the shutdown. FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr, who's always a speaker at these type of venues, does a great job. He's been the one who's been leading the efforts on 5G infrastructure deployment at the FCC. He was not able to make it as well. So, but besides that, great show, huge, great networking, etc. Next for me will be Mobile World Congress at the end of February at Barcelona, Spain. In the meantime, if you have any questions about recruiting, have any critical and urgent needs, both permanent placement or contract staffing, temporary staffing, let us know. We're always here to help you out. We're open 24 hours a day. I hope this was helpful. If you weren't able to make it, I want to make you feel like you kind of were there and were able to catch up with a quick video. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.